Welcome to Powerful Impact. This is SP, and we have Goddess and Tiptoe hosting today. How are you?
Hey guys, how you guys doing? I'm good. Excited.
We have special guest DK, the producer, and Justo the MC. How you
Peace,
guys?
y'all.
So I guess I'll start off with something just a little softball for you guys this evening. Where are you from?
You want to answer first,
Justo.
Oh, me? I'm from I'm from Brooklyn, East New York. Born and raised. Lived there all my life.
And DK?
I'm Canadian. I live in Halifax, Nova Scotia at the moment.
All right, Maria.
Nice. Okay, so let me ask you guys something. How did each of you get your stage names? I'll start with Justo first.
I'll try to make this as short as possible. So when I started rapping in high school, I didn't have a rap name, right? And at the time, a homeboy of mine, he had found out my middle name was Justin, right? And he, for whatever reason, he thought that was hilarious. And so he started calling me Justo. Little did I know he was kind of mimicking, or he was calling me that because of the DJ out in East New York. It's a well-known DJ named Justo. And I didn't know. I'm a lot younger than him, so I didn't know. So I was like, I'm gonna just start calling myself that. When I started rapping, I was like, that was, he was clowning me, but I ended up using it as like a rap name. And it wasn't until I met DJ Premier that he told me, yo, you know about Justo from East New York? Like, that's a well-known DJ out in New York. So you can't like use it. You got to add a different moniker. So he was the one who told me to put the MC on my name. So that's how I got Justo the MC, the whole like layout. So long story short, that's how I got my name.
That's dope. Wow. I like that.
So Premier
the MC.
helped you chat and basically told you, hey, you need to add something else. That's dope.
I need to add something else. That's
actually pretty.
Yeah.
And what about you, DK?
I minored, honestly, just like my initials. But I always kind of just went with that just because, some of the guys in like some of the MCs in the DITC crew, like OC, AG, just use their initials. So it worked for them. So I just did the same thing, basically.
Fire.
Yeah, that's fine.
I remember I had requested, I have some friends that do live reactions, right? I had requested your guys' the track Effortless, right? And they were, because there's this rapper that goes by DK the rapper, and they're like, yo, I didn't know
shit.
DK was producing. This is it. And I had to tell them, no, old different DK, dude. Like, this is not DK, this is actual, a different DK, but they loved it. Like, I love that project a lot. That whole project is just amazing.
Thank you.
So, moving on, let's see. You already answered that basically, because like the Justo is from your middle name and DK is your initials, basically. So let me ask you, what made you two decide to work together? Like, did you guys know each other prior or hear about each other? Either one can answer.
Give me a feel this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Justo the MC dropped a video. This is a while ago. It probably must have been 10 years ago. It's called "It's Our Year," and they were at a record shop, and DJ Premier was actually in it, and I was like, I saw it, and it was like, not, I guess like YouTube wasn't as popular as it is now, but like the video didn't really like have as many views as like I was expecting for like such quality music, and I was like, I wonder what he's doing. So I think I ended up reaching out like within a year, and then I just like sent him over some stuff, and we just like kind of emailed back and forth, and I don't know, we just kept in touch, I guess. And finally, we put out a project.
Wow.
Yeah, that's basically how it went down. That's crazy. It's 10 years, yeah, because I think I dropped that in 2012. So yeah, man, that's crazy. Thinking back on it.
So
But yeah.
what was it like to get those beats from him? Because I've listened to his beats and I'm like, damn, who did that?
Yeah.
And it was in the other chat room that I discovered who he was, and I was like, oh, that is just sick. So when you heard those beats, how did that hit you? Because it hit me hard.
Nah, dope. Yeah. Nah, DK is interesting because when he sends beats, he sends them kind of like skeletons. So they don't have a lot around it first. Like he kind of sends it, and then so I'll, obviously it'll be dope. And I'm like, all right, and I'll put something on it. And then when he sends me a new version, it'll be like all this other stuff added to it, or it'll have a different feel to it. So like working with DK was like interesting at first because he would send me a beat, and then if I didn't like send him the rhyme quick enough, he would send me another version of the beat, and I'd be like, yo, he just like flipped it, like, he's like really like he just does a lot of intricate stuff with his beats. And it's like if you don't if I didn't send it quick enough, like the verse, he would be like, well, what do you think about this version? I'm like, oh shit. And sometimes he would do it and it would actually bring different things out. So it was cool. Like just from the beginning, I was open to working with people. So the moment he sent it to me, he started sending me beats. It was kind of like that. It was like, oh, and he would like send me like different vibes and stuff. And so it was fun. I mean, it was great. It was definitely clearly because we're still working together. So it was definitely a lot of good shit.
Yeah, I think like working with him too, like really helped me evolve as well. Like just like I improve structure, and like skeletons are cool and stuff, but to actually do a full flesh track or make it sound complete, that's like just another level of production, in my opinion.
But your beats hit me too, because until I knew who you were, I was not expecting you. Like this, I don't take no offense to it because you are really dope. I was expecting a whole different, like somebody else, and you really,
like a Chinese
really
guy, Asian guy.
That's real though. That's real.
Like,
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I was kind of surprised too because I was like, who did that beat? And I heard your voice. And then when I finally saw you, I was like, oh shit, he's fire.
Yo. And he was my introduction to Canada, like as far as like these Canadian producers, because I'm from New York. I didn't know anything about Canada prior to, especially Canadian hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I think DK was one of the first people from Canada to hit me up on the production tip. And since then, I've worked with several artists from Canada. I feel like DK kind of opened the floodgates because I've worked with several artists now from Canada, but he was the first. I'll go on a limb and say you were the first, DK. I definitely think so.
Yeah, like all your other collaborations too with like other guys like DJ Uncle Fester, Bozak Morris, like all those guys are crazy.
Bozak, the Lost Info.
Yeah, all those guys are crazy.
All those guys are Canadian. So
Oh,
crazy.
yeah. So well, your project was fire, but what was your favorite song off of your project? If you could pick one. I can't pick one. I've tried to pick one, and I'm like, I feel it changes for me. So how do you have a favorite song?
Do you want me to field this one first?
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm really proud of the album, and I like every track on it, but I'll just go with The Realest to do it, just because for a few reasons. The first is because I was in Spain, like I think in 2012, and I went to this like flea market, and they had like these rare 45s of like American soul. And I found like a 45, and it's just like so amazing. Like you go to another country, and you just find like this like lost piece of art that like nobody even like remembers, or it's just like basically forgotten, and it's nothing. Then all of a sudden, like, you know, you put it on the turntable, and I was able to just like chop like really intricately like several different pieces and just make it sound cohesive. It definitely had like a real like, I don't know, as soon as I heard the sample, it just like moved me. And then obviously Justo felt the same way, because like his, you know, raps and that are extremely like heartfelt on the song as well, you know. It just basically captures the moment perfectly. That's the only way I can put it.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I would say that's my second favorite. My first is Effortless. Effortless is my favorite joint on there, just because, I mean, even when I was writing it, that's why it's titled Effortless. Like the words were just coming out, like the flow was just coming out. Once that was one of my favorite beats too. Like when DK sent it to me, I was like, oh man, I'm about to go ham. It's like one of those things where you know it's about to go down. So when he sent it to me, and that's why the song ended up being Effortless, because it just
connected with it right away, right?
Right away. But The Realest to Do It is just my second favorite, because it wasn't even going to be on the project. Like, it was a beat that DK had put on his Instagram, and I heard it, and I was like, yo. And I hit him up. I was like, bro, you might have to send me that joint. We got to put that joint on. I even say that on the track. If you guys hear in the beginning, I'm like, yo, DK, we had to put this one on there because it wasn't even going to be on the project. So that's.
Was it natural for you to come up with the lyrics, or did you feel like you had to kind of like practice a little bit more?
For what, the whole project or just that joint? The
just
whole project.
That one.
Oh, Realest to Do It. Which one? Realest to Do It or Effortless?
Effortless.
Nah, Effortless was literally, that's why I called it Effortless. Like, as soon as I heard the beat, I was just like, it was one of those zones. I don't know if, you know, like what you guys like love to do, but you know, like when you're doing it and you're in that zone, it's like nothing matters. It's just like it's just flowing. That's how
you're not even thinking about it.
You're not even thinking about it. Yeah, you're not even thinking about it. So
Effortless is my favorite, along with Hold It. What is it? Hold It Down.
Hold It Down.
I love Hold It Down. I like what you're saying on it. When you say you love hip hop, you're allowed to bump. Like, I just love that track. And Effortless, I love the scratching on it and the way you're just flowing. Like it. Yeah, those two are my favorite. The Realist is dope too, though. The whole project is good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Effortless. Like when I made the beat, it's like I liked it. It was cool, but like, you know, once Justo rapped on it, it just basically just brought it to the next level. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it sounded like you made it look easy. So, and
let me ask you.
It felt like it should have been called Effortless.
I agree. You made it seem effortless too. Like, and I know it's not. You know what I mean? Like, I could never do anything like that, but you guys made it seem effortless.
Appreciate it.
Amazing track. So let me ask you, what do you want people to get out of this body of work and take away from it after listening to it? Like, what is this for each of you? What would you guys want your audience to take from it?
You want me to go, DK?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, you know, we named it, or, you know, I named it This Is Me, because as I was titling the tracks and it was all coming together, it just felt authentic. You know, even the way we put the project together was really authentic. So I just want people to feel that authenticity. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want them to feel, you know, that hip hop vibe. You know, I think DK, when we first got the masters from Uncle Fest, I was like, man, it's like it's missing something. Like, I wanted that energy. I wanted people to feel it. So we even went back to do the masters again, because I just felt like it had to have that feel to it. You know, that home, like you just feel like you're a part of a story. You feel like you're a part of something. And so I think that was the main thing, just people feeling that authenticity and just hearing my story kind of, you know, I sprinkle little nuggets in there about different things about my life and stuff. And so I was just trying to paint a picture, really. And so that was the whole idea of it. That's what I want people to get from it.
And what would you want?
And what
people
about
to
you,
do?
DK?
Yeah, I think Justo hit the nail on the head. But also, it's like, real content, no fluff. Yeah, just good beats, good bars, nothing too complicated at the same time.
Nice. Yeah.
That's just hip hop, man. Like it, you
So
can't.
I'm gonna throw
It's
some.
hip hop.
I'm gonna throw some shit on the wall and see if it sticks. Name, use one word to describe this project. Just one word.
Oh man, that's tough.
One strong word.
Oh, I got one.
Okay.
Cohesive.
Okay.
Like I just feel like the project, and we got a lot of people told us, like when we first put it out, the first couple interviews we did, they said everything just like it flows. Like every song kind of flows into the next one. And then once it's over, it's like, oh shit, it's done. Like, because we didn't drown it out and put like 15 tracks, you know what I'm saying? It was, it's a short project, but it's cohesive. It makes sense. The beats feel good. Like you go from one beat to the next. There's not one beat in there that's like, oh, what the hell is this? You know what I'm saying? Like everything just feels right. So I would say cohesive. Like it's a very cohesive project.
Organic.
It did. It left me wanting more. And I think that's what you want from a project.
Yeah.
It made me go and check out your catalog. It made me find out about DK because I wanted more. So cohesive is good. What about you, DK?
I would say organic, just because, like Justo explained earlier, that it's just very easy to put together, just came together in a very organic fashion. And I think that is definitely reflected by the feedback we've gotten from most people.
Yeah.
This project is. There are a lot of great artists out there and dope songs, but there's some projects you can't bump in the ride, right? That they you can, but it's not that type of vibe in a way. It's just something. But this project runs smooth in the ride. You know what I mean? You're taking your ride. You're just vibing out, jamming, and
Yeah.
just it's perfect.
Yeah.
And that's something real big with me because I'm in my car a lot. So you know what I mean? Like I spend a lot of time in my car bumping music wherever I'm going. So yeah, I love it for the ride too.
Appreciate that.
So just so what is one word you use to describe DK?
Ooh. Damn. That's a good question. Right now, I would say froze because he's frozen as hell right now on the screen. He's frozen as hell right now. Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Okay. We got two of him on the screen.
Yeah, I see too. Yeah,
Okay,
there we go.
there he goes.
Such a good question.
Gotta love technology.
Yo, come back to me. Ask DK. I want to see what he said. I gotta think about it.
Yeah.
Come back.
Okay, DK, give me one word that describes Justo.
Insightful.
My man.
My man. Yes, that's a good word.
My man.
That is a good word because I didn't just listen to this project. I've listened to several of his projects, and that word is beautiful to describe him because I have found your music to be just that.
Thank you. Yo, this one's kind of funny though. I'm gonna say DK he's kind of cunning. And I say, I'll give you a reason why. Because DK, like you said about like when you heard the beats and then you saw him and he was like, yo, like DK, he's so good at what he does, but like you wouldn't really like, he doesn't even go about it like he's that guy. Like he just
You
does it.
wouldn't
You know what I'm saying?
expect it.
He just does it. And so it's like
Right.
even when we dropped the tape, like he was finding ways to get people engaged in it. And I was like, dude, how'd you even like, like what
I
did you
didn't
even
do
do?
that.
And he was like, dude, I just hit him up. I just emailed him, asked him straight up questions. I'm like, dude, you're like, you're a sneaky, cunning dude. Like, you really just know how to do shit. And you wouldn't even think he was like on that wave. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
he's so brave with it, because as artists, sometimes we can get caught up in being like afraid to ask people stuff, or
Yes.
afraid to try to do stuff,
Yes.
because we get so many no's and so many like, nah, like I'm not, you don't got a big name, or you don't got enough Instagram followers, or blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So to be able to do that and not think about that other stuff, that's that. I love that about him. So I don't mean a disrespectful way, but like he's just kind of
Yeah,
knows how to.
because when I heard him speak and talk about the album, he was so humble.
Yeah.
And I was like, I listened to those beats. You better talk your shit.
Right, right. In the boom bap cat, right? That was in boom
I'm like,
bap,
I
right?
listened to them
Yeah.
beats. You better
That was
say,
it.
I did that shit like that, man.
Yeah.
Yes. So since you brought up other artists, let me ask you, you know how you get a no and this and that.
Yeah.
Who is your ideal collaboration? Like who do you dream of working with? And that goes for both of you. So I'm gonna ask DK first and then Justo can go next. Name an artist you would love to work with to rap on your beats, DK.
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. Hey, you gotta
You know
answer
what?
it, bro.
No
I would
brainer.
love to hear that, to be honest with you.
No
Yeah.
brainer.
I would love to hear that. I would love to hear what Jay would do with one of your beats, because you are great.
Wait,
What
what gave
is,
your team to King Crooked? Because he asked about producers for his new pro. I said, here's a list of producers, and this one kid named DK, and who knows? We'll see. But
so if you
I
get
can't
a
give
call from
details.
Cricket, don't think it's a joke. It's really him.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's like that. All right, so
Tiptoe, did you
Justo,
share any? Did you share any music with him? Did you share
I
like
always
their album?
do.
Okay,
I share everything with him.
dope,
Like
dope.
I send him all the new artists I listen to.
So
Tell him
just
check
give
them
us a
out.
10% cut to Powerful
No, you
Impact.
don't
All right,
get
DK.
Hey,
nothing.
this guy
You
Nev.
don't get
10%
nothing.
off the top.
I don't get anything. So no. Uh, just know who would you like? Who is your dream collaboration? Whether it's another artist or producer, it could be both.
Yeah, I think I would love to go bar for bar with Nas. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
I would love to go bar for bar with Nas, and production wise, it might surprise you guys, but I would say either Timbaland. Timbaland's one of my favorite producers of all time.
He's good.
Timbaland or Just Blaze. I would love to get on the Just Blaze
Mm.
track. I
You
would
know
love to
what?
get on the
Just
Just Blaze
Blade,
track.
he don't get enough love, I don't think.
He really
'Cause
does
he's
not.
brilliant.
He
He's
really does
brilliant.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those
I
are
would
two of my
love,
sneaky
I,
favorites.
I would love to hear what you would do with a Timberland beat.
Yo,
Yeah.
That would be epic to hear with how you would fuck up a Timberland beat. I'm just saying.
man. I was
I
jealous
think
because
it would
J.
be
Cole, his last album, he did one. Timberland actually produced one of his joints
great.
on that, and I was just like, damn, son, like, I would love to be in that
Right?
position to be like, yo, hit up. Because as a matter of fact, I saw the backstory. He had saw something that Timberland had posted, and he just hit Timberland up. Like, I would love to just be like, yo, bro, you just posted
But
something. I want that beat. That would be crazy.
you know, tag him in your stuff. and it brings up like I know it seems like people are like I don't want to bug him. He's big. What is he gonna do if I tag him? But dude, he works with a lot of artists that aren't signed and aren't known. You
Facts.
you never know unless
True
you
And
story. True story.
we are just the kind of people who send people we don't
we
know
are.
all of y'all shit
That's
because
a fact.
that's just what we do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
Don't let
that's how
somebody
we
say
do.
I need a beat. Your email will be blowed up because I always send them.
Yep.
It doesn't matter who it is.
SP, hey, SP and I be, don't we just tag everyone and anyone and just be sending it like, check this out. Oh, you need to check all the time.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Goddess,
You're up, girl.
Yes. Am I up?
You're
you're
up.
up, girl.
All right,
You're up.
I got a question for Justo. How did the pandemic affect you?
Shit.
Wait, what was
That's a loaded question, man. Gee, man. Nah, the pandemic was tough, man. It was artistically, it was cool though because I got to get into a zone I've never normally. I think for artists, I think a lot of my artist friends say this, like the pandemic, certain parts of the pandemic was great because to be stuck in the
I feel
crib
that.
and just learn new stuff. I taught myself how to engineer. I taught myself how to
Yes.
produce a little bit better.
Yes.
Hey,
So I wasn't even really working on like writing as much as I was trying to learn how to engineer, was learning how to create my own beats and
Mhm.
stuff. So, it gave me a chance to be artistic, but in a way where I was like trying to like elevate myself, do different stuff. So in that part, it was great. What I mean, artistically,
yeah.
I had my studio set up, so I was able to record at home. So I was still, pushing out tracks. As a matter of fact, I think I recorded that project at home, right, DK? Like I recorded "This Is Me" at my crib and just sent
Yeah,
him
you
the,
did.
the vocal files. So that part was great, But then being locked in the crib, I have two daughters; they're very young, so that
How old? How old?
right now they're 3 and 5. At the time they were 2 and 4, like when
Oh,
the pandemic first broke down. So they were,
Aw.
yeah, they were ready. They were
oh,
ready.
you was going through it though,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because you
yeah.
can't
Oh,
take them
oh.
nowhere. You can't do anything. I know. My
Yo, the only
grandkids.
thing
And
that saved me, the
actually,
only thing that saved me was like in the summertime, we were able to at least still take them out. Like we would still go to the park and stuff like that. But
Right.
when that winter hit, bruh, that was
Yeah. Stuck inside, bro.
crazy,
Stuck inside.
crazy.
Yeah.
So, I
I
think,
heard.
but I always say this. I feel like if people didn't go like crazy or they didn't like grow themselves, then I don't trust them because the pandemic was like
Right.
it had to do one or the other to you. It had to make
So
you
Yeah.
either greater or crazy.
I
Like
totally agree. I always say, like, yo, this pandemic is going to test who you really are.
facts.
Are you going
Exactly.
to take this opportunity to find a way to grow, or are you going to just fall apart?
Facts.
And let me
Yeah.
tell you, a lot of artists were like, yes,
Yeah.
I have time to actually be creative.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it
I
was
can
great.
collaborate. Yes.
It was great. That part was
DK,
great.
what about you?
Yeah, DK, tell us, how did the pandemic affect you?
Well, like Justo said, I basically just spent a lot more time at home. Made a ton of beats. I just felt like my production got like a lot better within like even like the first like 3 or 4 months of the pandemic, and then I know I just kind of set a schedule for myself, and yeah, just
Did you go crazy
just
in
kept on
the
getting
middle, or
better.
were you like, oh, this is lovely, this is nice,
Or
I'm
were
at
you,
home.
or were you
Yes.
like me? I'm a natural introvert, so
Facts.
Well, yes
y'all
and
fit
no.
into my world.
Facts. Facts.
Yes and no, but like because like a thing a lot what I do is like I go to like local shows and that
Hmm.
type of thing, and that's how I connect with like the local community. And I travel. I was actually supposed to go to New York just before the pandemic hit. I know,
Oh
like
wow.
literally like 2 weeks right before the everything like shut down.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
had something booked. Anyways, um, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so yeah, I networking like and traveling that type of thing is a big part of what I do. But yeah, the beat part definitely got easier.
A lot of artists told me that too, that the non-touring thing kind of hit their pocket, but it forced them to write more and do more, you know, since they were home.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of them built a studio,
Mm-hmm.
others, you know, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But touring, I get it. Going to shows, they couldn't do that anymore because of the pandemic. Yeah, it's hard.
For sure.
I
So,
got I got a quick question.
mhm.
I'm sorry, ST, were you gonna say
No,
something?
go for it, goddess.
Okay. So, are you guys familiar with the NFT?
Oh,
I've
never
heard of.
asked
I know
them
what they
that.
are.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
DK?
Yeah, I know what they are.
Okay, you know they are. So right now I'm learning about how music is really trying to take advantage of NFTs. It's not all about, you know, pictures, art, JPEGs and all of that, but the actual music industry has the ability to take advantage of that space. And I don't know if you guys saw what happened with Tory Lanez. Did anybody see the whole situation with Tory
Yeah,
Lanez?
No.
I saw that.
So basically what he did is he decided to drop his album as an NFT. I think he sold it for like maybe $1. He promoted it for a long time, and then as soon as he dropped it, he made like 1 million copies, and then they sold right off the bat.
Mm.
You know, for his artists. So how open are you guys to the idea of utilizing the NFT space to grow your music collectively, both DK and Justo? How do you feel about it being an opportunity for music?
I mean, Tori made $1 million. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I saw
In
Yeah.
5 minutes.
No, 1 minute, 57
1
seconds,
minute.
1 minute.
less than a minute.
1 minute.
What do you think, DK?
Oh yeah.
What do you
So
think?
I saw a Currency did. It was pretty cool. Like he just released like an exclusive album, and then like if you bought it, you got to like meet him backstage and stuff. And I think that's like a
Yeah.
pretty cool perk. Like I think that's like definitely something that, you know, independent artists can pull off like with success, assuming the music is good and the product is like super exclusive.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, though, it's not necessarily just exclusive to the artist, but a lot of the people that are getting involved in it are coming in as teams.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because when you come in as a team, you are basically creating the opportunity for people to kind of like have an inside view on what you're doing. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times what the artists are doing is that they're using those NFTs as basically, it's almost like a membership.
Yeah.
Fans, you know, so when fans own, you know, even if it's a small percentage of your music online, now they feel like they're on your team too. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if it's not something that you guys have considered, and it doesn't even cost anything, I think it's great because it gives your followers something of value, because now it's not just them listening to your music online, but now they're, you know, they have a part of what you're doing, of your project,
Right.
you know, long term. And now they follow you even longer down that journey because they feel like they're invested in everything that you do moving forward.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I think it's definitely something for you guys to look into, because what you guys have going on is incredible. It's valuable. It's great. You know, and this is the time, like you said, like, you know, the pandemic gave artists the opportunity to create. All right, great. A lot of artists actually did create something. But now you have all these people that love what you do. They're followers, they're fans, they're listening to everything that you're doing. They're watching you on social media. So now if you transition into the NFT space, you're giving them, you know what I'm saying, something invested in what you're doing. It makes them feel like they want to be a part of your next move. You know what I'm saying? Because they own a small part. And I think a lot of people get distracted with the idea that, oh my God, it costs thousands of dollars to get involved. No. You know what I'm saying? If you make the price small, but you make the following large, that's how Tory Lanez made money. He dropped his album for nothing. Millions of people bought it. Boom, made $1 million in a day. You know what I'm saying? So I think as a team, it's something to definitely consider. I don't know. I think you guys are doing something great, and I see you guys doing something long term. You know what I'm saying? And really growing from this. I'm really impressed with the fact that you guys work together and you guys have so much respect for each other and are in this together. So I don't know. I just wanted to let you guys know that, you know, you're on the right path.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Very good information, for real.
Going, since now that everything is opening up, like starting to reopen,
Mhm.
do you guys have any plans for shows or tours or anything?
At the moment, not for me. Especially in the New York scene, it's like I'm good right now. Like my thing right now, what I'm working on is because I feel like it's been something that's more beneficial to me at this point in my career, is working with like television. So I do music for like what do you call it? Like sync music. So that's music that you make for television and stuff.
Right.
You get licensed for television, and so I'm really trying to grow. I'm trying to grow the money that I'm making through my publishing. And you don't really do that like when you're just streaming, unless you're Jay-Z or Nas or big name. You know what I'm saying? Like the streaming is a tough road. So DK actually helped me link with a guy who does it often. He's a producer who does it often, and we've gotten into some business together, and it's been paying off, and it helped me link up with another producer. And so I have these several situations. So I'm not really like with my kids are still young. I'm trying to still be, around a little bit more, but I'm definitely thinking about it. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity because I've been doing this for a minute. I don't want to do little rinky-dink shows in the city. Like I want to make sure I'm on something legit. And if I'm not on something legit, that means I just got to work harder. But while I'm doing that, I'm making sure I'm putting, stock into my licensing music and still dropping my stuff in there. So that's where my mind is at right now.
Hey, TV pays pretty good. Writing for shows and stuff like that pays really well.
For sure. You just got to have the right opportunity. So I'm staying at it.
DK, you low key the man.
Facts. Oh, he got the connect. I told you, cunning. He got the connect.
The man.
Got the connects.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot easier to make connections if you actually have something valuable to offer. That's what I tell people. I mean, if you don't have anything to offer, what's the point? But yeah, just for me, just trying to do some beat showcases around the city. Not traveling too much right now. There's still like a nice few restrictions in Canada. What else? Oh yeah, I'm trying to get Justo to come up here at some point to do a show.
Yeah. I need to get a tour over there.
I'm working on a few other like compilation albums just to use as my business card type of thing situation for me. And and I want to do another project with Justo at some point. Press up some vinyl and sell it like super exclusively.
Yes.
Vinyl's dope. Like I like vinyl.
Let me ask you, this is kind of off the topic of the music. You're talking about doing shows in Canada. What is going on with Vancouver right now?
I'm not sure. It's all the way across on the other side of the country, so I won't be able to tell you.
The reason I'm asking, I think there's I keep trying to find information on I think it's some fires or something.
Like wildfires?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think over the summer there's always wildfires.
It's like California over here,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Cali.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Because
Arizona.
Vancouver's on the west side.
Yeah, exactly. It's far
Got
from
it.
me.
Yeah. So they probably
Yeah,
getting what Cali
Arizona
getting.
gets them a lot too. But
Yeah,
they're
I've
just
been
not
trying to
here.
find information on it. Somebody mentioned it to me, and for some reason, my Texas don't want me to know. Because every time I pop in, it's like you don't live there, and it's what.
Let me
Doesn't want,
let
it
me
doesn't
ask
want
you
you to know what's going on.
let me ask you a question, Justo. Do
Mhm.
you think there is colorism and gender discrimination in hip hop still currently to this day?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I feel like hip hop is still uh, I can't think of the word for it, but it gives you a synopsis of what's going on in the regular world. You know what I'm saying? So there's colorism and genderism, sexism, and all that stuff in America. So yeah, there's definitely still that in hip hop. I think, but at the same time, I think people are starting to be more open minded, just like
Yes,
in the country in general. So I think
yes.
that there are trailblazers, there are people that are making steps, but like any trailblazer is going to be difficult. It's going to be a lot of BS. It's going to be a lot of people pushing back.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, I think all that stuff is still going on and alive and well,
So
unfortunately.
so trailblazing, do you think Conway wearing the shirt and Kid Cudi wearing the dresses, do you think they're trailblazing? Or
Uh,
do you
them specifically, I don't know. I mean, I feel like people
I was
like
pissed.
I think
Like,
Conway.
why?
I
I
think
was
I
like,
think
Kanye,
people
I can't hear your lyrics no more.
misinterpreted what Conway was wearing. That was not a
It was a
skirt.
kilt.
That was a tribal um
Yeah, like a
outfit. It,
kilt.
it
Like,
it was something that was native to the country that he was in. So
oh,
it
Conway
wasn't
did
a
that.
right.
skirt.
I'm surprised. I
But
didn't even know.
Cuddy was wearing a wedding dress and holding the hand of a dude.
Yeah, but
Um,
Cuddy different.
I mean, yeah.
very
I mean,
different.
for me, like I've never worried about like what no other man is doing. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? What
I
they
don't.
do
Right,
is what they do. I'm not gonna
right.
hate on it. I'm not gonna shit on it. It's not what I would do, but I'll leave it at that. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like
hip hop comments on it. It's like one.
hip hop right now is super diluted anyway. Like hip
Yeah.
hop
Right.
itself is so many sections. Like you can't even.
It's diverse.
It's
It's
so
diverse.
diverse that you can, and sometimes it even turns into different genres. And I don't know how we can even. It's hard to even say what's hip hop, what's not nowadays, because you're looking
Right.
at the underground, like what me and DK do. You look at like the mainstream, which has several different kind of styles. So it's just really
Right.
difficult right now to even say what the genre is, you know what I'm saying, or who to put in or who to put
Yeah.
out. It's just
So
it's tough. It's
I
tough.
Yeah,
think
but
I'm very
I think that as
judgy
an
though.
artist, though, I think as an artist, I really feel deep down in my heart, as an artist, we have to respect other artists as an
Yeah,
artist,
for sure.
because
But
it's
hip
not
hop is
designed for us to be the
competitive.
same. It's designed for us to stand out, to be different. Whether we agree with how they, display their artistry, I think
Right.
that as an artist, I always respect other people's artistry, whatever they're doing.
Right. And
You know what I'm
I
saying?
That's
agree with
fine.
that. But like, okay, so growing
I
up
know where you go. I
and
know where you're going with
listening,
this. I know where you're going
like
with it.
I'm saying, hip hop is very competitive. I've been listening to it since
For sure.
'79. SP, you're with me on listening to it that long. So it's very competitive, and the bold move in hip hop is always to diss this or diss that, and very outspoken. There's conscious hip hop, there's fun hip hop, there's gangster hip hop,
For
there's
sure.
this and that, right?
Conscious
So
hip
that's
hop.
where I was going with it. Like, I really don't care what an artist does. If they're disrespectful, then I don't go for that. But if they're doing it in music, being competitive, I can be okay with that.
Yeah.
Does that
No, I
make
agree.
sense?
DK.
Yeah, I agree with
So
that.
it's Floods and travel has been impaired. That's why I was asking. I knew travel had been impaired, that they shut down the railways. So that was what it was.
DK still like, man, I'm on the other side of the world, basically.
Yeah, but still.
That's on the other side.
Yeah, but Canada's got a lot going on.
It's washouts and landslides and
yeah.
I guess it's because I'm one of those people. If something happens in New York, I want to volunteer to go up there and help, that kind of thing. That's
I feel that. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm a weirdo.
That's
No, you're not. No, you're not. Like,
that's a big heart. That's a big heart.
Yeah.
You have a big heart, Esty. You're not a weirdo. You got a
That's
big
not a
heart.
weirdo. That's a big heart.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to give back, and it don't always have to be in your own community. Like, it's good to be helpful. It makes me
What's
feel
your
good,
dream destination to perform?
Ooh.
Bucket list.
Yeah. Yo, I get a lot of love. I was working with a lot of artists from France at one point. I've worked with. Here's a fun fact about me. I've worked with, I want to say, at least 10 to 15 different people from different countries in different aspects of music. So whether it was they made a album cover for me, or like a digital video or production. And I've never been to any of these countries. The only country I've been to is Canada, because I went to Toronto and I shot a video with Los Info, a squad that I worked with a little bit after DK. And that's the only place I've been. Like, I've worked with guys from Mexico, I've worked with people from France, Spain, Netherlands. I mean, the list.
Hip hop is big in France.
Yo, it's crazy.
Do you speak French? Do you speak French?
Who?
I do.
I was gonna say,
no.
DK, what about you? What's your dream destination?
What's my favorite ideal show destination?
Yes.
Is it called the Knitting Factory? Is that the one in Brooklyn?
Hey.
Yeah, I'll say that.
Are you kidding? Are you serious? Are you serious, DK? The whole planet?
Hey, hip hop artists in Brooklyn.
You do that any day, bro.
Exactly. All right, DK, another one. Give us a different one. Some jet fuel, more jet fuel.
America. No, you don't have to do that. Don't listen to
DK could drive to that one. He could drive to that one.
Hey, Brooklyn is just fine.
Yo, DK got the illest beats. I want to say like Singapore, like New Zealand.
Yeah.
I see why, Neville. I see why he wants to do it in Brooklyn, though.
No, he wants it from the essence, from the heart. I get it.
I get it.
SOBs then, or yeah. No, I get it. No, you know what? That's a real. He did a real b-boy in a hip hop band, so I can respect it.
Yeah.
But to me, it would have been like Fiji Islands or something like that, or something funky, like eating kangaroo.
I can get on a plane and be in New York in 3 hours. I'm not looking to go to New Zealand.
Oh shit! Yo, I like DK.
Let him know. There you go.
I'm internationally known and I'm locally accepted. Hold that answer. That's my answer. Boom.
Boom.
That was a good question, OSP. I appreciate that.
That was.
Yeah.
And then he said Knitting Factory, Brooklyn.
He said Knitting Factory. Come to the
hot and sweaty. I think that's what no BS. I think that's what Common filmed. I forgot the name of that song, but he's in the basement and Kanye produced it. Dun, 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 dun. Oh man, the joint on the album after I can't the album After B. He filmed that in the Knitting Factory.
I love when someone's talking about music and they start doing like a beat.
And they start doing
and the beat don't sound nothing like it.
It never sounds.
Nothing like
it.
It's black. It's a black and white video, and it's like sweaty.
That'd be the type when you be like, "Yo, that's not helping."
That's
me, bro.
not it, no. Bro. You're singing gangsta.
Nah, that's not it. I don't know.
I ain't never
I
heard
still
this
don't know.
song.
I got two more questions before I got to get off to get ready for work tomorrow. Okay, so who are the two of you listening to currently other than yourself, like in hip hop in general? Or it could, you know what? It don't even have to be hip hop. It could be some other genre of music.
Nah, it's cool. DK, you want to go first? I want to know what DK. Oh, he left. Oh, he
Yeah,
No, he bought.
he said I don't want to answer that. So you
damn. All right,
He'll
so
be
I'll
back.
answer it.
He's listening to opera.
Justo, that's not you.
Yeah.
I know you're gonna say Willow Smith.
Nah.
I have actually,
Yo,
I
you know
lied.
what?
I have three questions, but this one first.
Yo, so first of all, I be listening to Rhapsody. Rhapsody's fire.
She's
Rhapsody.
dope. Hey,
Surprisingly, this might surprise you. I listen to Dave East a lot. Like Dave
Oh,
East.
I love Dave
Dave
East.
East,
Yeah.
Freddie Gibbs,
Yes.
okay.
J.
So you heard
Cole.
the new one by Freddie Gibbs and
Yeah.
Jadakiss, right?
Yeah. And then I listen to like some underground cats. Like I listen to what's his name? God, I can't even think of dude. Danielson.
Yes.
I listen to damn, it's a couple people like Flea Lord is kind of dope. I listen to Conway. Yeah. I listen to like a lot of gritty, like underground hip hop.
I like that you said Dave East. You know what my favorite song is by him? Free Smoke.
Yeah, you know what? That's one of his new joints, though, right?
Yeah.
No, that's like an old one.
Older joint.
That's an older joint.
I like what's that album? Oh my god,
He Kyrie not too long ago.
The one named after his daughter. That joint is dope. That joint is dope.
Let me tell you something. Dave East.
Kyrie Chanel.
If I go to a concert, I could literally go on stage and like rhyme right with him. That's like crazy. You know how when people say you have your moment, I'm gonna have my moment.
Yeah. No, he. I feel like he's really underrated, but I know why he's underrated. I know why, because he dabbles too much. Because sometimes he'll be like underground, and then he does like a whole bunch of like modern records, like like new school records, and then his albums are too like up and down. And so I feel like people don't know, he can't really find a fan base because
but it's the underground that's always the best.
His underground stuff is dope, but then he throws all these like these mainstream tracks, and it's like, dude, this
I don't even bother with
I like the but I think that hurts him. I think it hurts him.
Yeah, it does.
Like Freddie Gibbs, I think has a more consistent fan base because he's more consistent with his sound.
Yeah,
right.
Davis,
that's like Illuminati is fire with him and Jadakiss. I like it.
Yeah.
What about you, DK?
What about you, DK?
I'll send you the link as
me. So
what about you, DK?
Last two albums I listened to was Marco Polo actually released a beat tape 2 days ago. Maybe
you checked that?
Yeah, and it's really good. And I also listened to the Robert Glasper album that came out last year. It's called Dinner Party. I don't know.
Yes.
Today, or this week, but I know it came out I think last year or the year before. I don't know.
Okay. So,
I love that album.
I'm gonna make this my last question because I gotta get up at 3 a.m. so I need to get off. But I always ask every artist this, and producer too. It doesn't matter. I'll ask you first. So when did you fall in love with hip hop, and what made you fall in love with hip hop?
That's a good question. I don't particularly know when I fell in love with hip hop, but I know what made me at least feel like connected to it. Was actually I was a kid. I was like maybe 9 years old, something like that, and I had a family friend who used to pick me up from school, and he always used to play like a bunch of albums, like stuff that we wasn't supposed to hear. Me and my sister was supposed to hear, but he would play them anyway. And he played DMX, and then there was X. He had that album back when he had the CDs. You throw it in the car. So he had, and then there was X, and he had Marshall Mathers LP. He had a couple of other joints, and like he was playing them, and like it just felt like the world around me just like changed. Like, because those are, if you know those albums are really intense. Like they're very intense. And
pretty much took away everything around you.
Everything around, like my brain was just fixated on it as a little kid. And I was just like, yo, you know, some of it, you know, because a lot of it was like, there's a lot of crazy stuff in both those albums. So it's like your brain is like, but it made me, you know, as I got older and I got into music, that was the feeling that, like, I always think back on those feelings. And like when I make music, I want, if some kid is listening to it in the back of the family friend's car, their parents' car, to have that same feeling where they're like, yo, who is this guy? Like, who are these people? Like this story, this feeling, you know. When I was in high school, one of the first albums my mom ever bought me was Get Rich or Die Trying from 50 Cent. I was dating myself a little bit. I'm a baby. So when I listened to it, it was one of those albums too, because, you know, I grew up in Brooklyn. I went to a rough high school, so it was a lot of, you know, stuff going on, gang violence and stuff around that time. So that album, again, it was that same thing where it put me in the zone. And it just, you know, I could feel what the artist was talking about. I could feel everything that was going on in it. And I think that's what made me love hip hop, you know. And then obviously being from Brooklyn, getting into Jay-Z, getting into Biggie, you know, getting into all those big name New York artists, it just made me fall in love with it more and more. So I think that was like the key thing.
Because I was 9 when my cousin played Rapper's Delight when it first came out.
Oh snap!
And I knew I liked it because it was different.
Yeah.
But when I heard The Message by Grandmaster, I fell in love right then, because I was like, they're talking about I grow up. Like, that made me fall in love with hip hop right there.
Right.
So, DK, when did you fall in love, and what made you fall in love with hip hop? I know you love it. Your beats let me know that right off.
Yeah, so also, and then there's X.
Crazy.
A friend who lived next door, and he had an older brother who would have, you know, all these CDs, very similar stories. So I definitely remember that one. And I also remember, I think I just started high school or something when Get Rich or Die Trying came out, and I'm pretty sure that album influenced every rapper or a producer who's ever heard it at the time. And it's definitely not relatable to me at all, especially during that time. But it just sounded good. I don't know. I just can't really put my finger on it. That's all.
Wow. Yeah, but still, I mean, there's two of you from different parts of the world that there is X and Get Rich or Die Trying. That's saying something right there.
Yeah,
you know
crazy.
what I mean?
Yep.
I know I cried when X passed away. I'm not gonna front.
I definitely felt that one.
Artists.
Yeah, I felt that one. That one hurt.
So he hurt me too.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna dip out. You guys have a good night. It was a pleasure talking to you guys.
Same. Take care of yourself. Appreciate you.
You too.
Peace out.
Good night,
Peace out, Tiptoe.
Good night.
Peace out, Tiptoe.
Good night, love.
So since we're talking about it, a lot of hip hop artists have passed. Over the last year, either from gun violence or drug addiction, health issues. It's been a lot. Being an artist yourself and kind of seeing the day-to-day. Why do you think that this is so prevalent, especially in hip hop now?
Well, I think, like I said earlier, with the colorism and gender thing, it's like a microcosm of what's going on in society. I think mental health is so ignored, and there's not enough importance on mental health. And I think the pandemic showed that without a doubt, because people were losing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think people are even worse coming out of it. And, you know, especially hip hop artists that were known, you know, I think it did something to people in general who like are famous, because everyone was in the same boat.
Right.
You know, and it took away that thing that they had. That was the difference. You know, they got the money, but you got to be in the crib just like us. So, you know, it took away, I think it took away that glamour or that glitz about them, because it was like, you know, you would see, I would see like all these stars on like videos, and they didn't have their like haircut, or they didn't have their hair done. Like the ladies didn't have makeup. It was just like, y'all look mad regular right now, you know? And I think it brought people down to earth. It brought everybody down to earth. It made things way more even in that sense. And I think that messed with some people's heads, especially people who are, you know, seen in the limelight, hip hop stars, everyone knows them, blah, blah, blah. And now it's like, you know, it's not that big a deal. You know what I'm saying? So I think that mixed with mental health in general, mixed with this weird wannabe gangster stuff that goes on in hip hop, you know, that's like, you know, back in the day, like hip hop artists were actual thugs that turned into rappers. Like you think 50, you think Easy, you think, you know, Suge Knight, who you think Biggie, all these guys were like actual thugs who came into like hip hop. Now you have like these guys who create personas, you know, where you can easily create guys. You know, like I was watching a documentary about what's the dude with the rainbow hair?
Takashi.
Yeah, like you could literally make these guys now. Like you could make like the fact that a guy is running around with rainbow hair and could be like a blood in New York. Gotta know what's up with that. There ain't no rainbow hair dudes in New York running around talking about they running stuff. I'm like, that's not happening. But that's what you can tell, like the game has just changed. So I think all those things combined have really affected hip hop. And then, like you said, with the health stuff, especially within the Black community, we're not taking care of ourselves, you know. So all these things are microcosms of stuff that's going on in society in general, and it's just perpetuating itself in the hip hop world. But it's all stuff that we dealing with at home, our parents, our family. You know, it's the same thing. It's just in the hip hop lens. That's what I think.
You're seeing the real deal with everyone. All of a sudden, the celebrity, you know, cloak is taken away, and it's like we're all on Zoom. We're all on the computer. We're all in our house. So what makes you different from the next? You know what I'm saying? And now you don't have, I think as an artist, the leverage that you guys have is that you don't have to sign up with a record deal or anything like that, because now you actually can control how you handle your music. You can upload your own music. You can create fans and your platform, you know? So I think I think it really affected a lot of celebrities, because now they feel like they're losing a little bit of power. Yeah. I mean, now you see celebrities on TikTok mimicking music from regular artists.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that crazy?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So really DK, your view from Canada. What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
because it's a lot different.
I agree. I mean, I'm definitely not an expert in this space, but there is one observation I made and I just want to use this platform to call out Trump. So Mac Miller, in my opinion, died because of Donald Trump. This is just my theory. This is not proven or anything like this, but he called out a 16-year-old basically on Twitter, which was at the biggest platform at the time, and like had these lawsuits on against him, you know, because he had a song called Donald Trump. And I'm convinced to this day that that's one of the reasons why he took his own life.
Wow.
Damn.
You think about it, you're 16 years old and you have basically, you know, a very high profile person, you know, going after you when you're just trying to release art. And then that person essentially becomes rewarded by being the president of the United States. And then the other person's mental health just deteriorates, probably reverts to drug use, and then dies. You know, it's just something not fair there.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Wow.
I am one of those people who
Cunning.
have to.
Chill now.
I
Yes, though.
I have to agree that that presidency actually made showed you who people really are.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I
Oh
think
yeah.
Yes. I'm so glad you said that.
That's a bar. That's a fact.
I feel like that presidency, whether we like it or not, it made a difference. It showed you who people were, and it inspired people to make serious changes. It opened up people's eyes.
I was saying that people thought I was crazy. I was like, yo, it needed to happen. We needed to have
needed to
like
happen.
It needed to happen only because people have been in this bubble of I don't see color bullshit.
Hiding in plain sight.
See me.
Yep.
See me. That I am a black woman. See all of me. Don't tell me you don't see color, because then you take away a big part of who I am. And why do I have to lose my identity in order for you to feel comfortable in my space?
For sure.
Yep.
Right?
For sure.
Yep.
So this presidency didn't show black people who these folks were, but it did open a lot of white people's eyes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It made them see that we weren't bullshitting, because they had to be at home and the shit was on TV.
Yeah.
And they couldn't miss those videos anymore.
Yeah.
And they couldn't miss those news stories anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they had to be engaged because they had no other option.
Hey, SP, I was talking about that with my grandfather. I was like, isn't it amazing how all this stuff is happening while we're stuck in the house where no one can run away from it?
Nope.
Nobody can act like it doesn't exist. Because
Nope.
every time you turn your TV on, every time you go on Instagram, every time, at one point, Black Lives Matter was on everything. Every time you put on your Instagram, it was just showing videos of all this stuff happening to people, you know, black men in their cars in the streets, and you couldn't run from it. You know, it had to be seen. It had to be put out there. So it's crazy how like that all worked out in that way. And he needed.
And
to
then
be
people
there.
you
He
were
needed
close
be there.
to, friends, family,
Yeah.
people that you thought that, yo, this person got my back, and then all of a sudden you see them post, and you're like, yo, did that person just post that? Wow, did that person just say that? Wow, like you know what I'm saying?
For me, I have always been this person. I can't be your friend if you idolize Donald Trump.
Straight up.
Because even if you say you're not racist, you ain't mad at it.
You holding the wrong company. You got the wrong company.
Yeah, it don't bother you.
If you hang out with drug dealers, people are gonna assume that you sell drugs.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. That I think people don't realize. Donald Trump isn't the one controlling everything.
Yeah, for sure.
He is the character.
He's a pawn
on stage who's playing these roles and doing these things. It's the people behind the scenes that are doing these things.
That is
Remember, people behind the scenes are never going to reveal themselves. They're going to grab somebody and put them up front and say, hey, it's this guy.
There are people behind the scenes, but
it's not 100% him.
Donald Trump has been a scumbag since the 80s.
Oh, that's a fact.
Don't get it twisted.
Yes.
He's been exactly who he is.
Yes.
And the presidency didn't make him change. It just brought out more of who he was.
But Donald Trump was about his money. He doesn't care.
No, he wasn't. Donald Trump was just scum, and nobody ever paid attention to the fact that he was just a shitty human being from day one, and he always has been.
But I agree
This
with
is a
Goddess. They
man.
was using him though. They was using
This
him.
is a
You
man
understand they're
who.
using him.
Yeah.
No, they
Everybody's
were
focused on
using.
the puppet, but we're not
Don't
really paying attention to what's
don't
happening.
give him an out, because that's what
That's not
people have been doing to him all his life, giving him an excuse to be a shitbag. He
Damn, DK.
is exactly who he has always been.
Bro.
And don't be, people got to be accountable for who they are. He has been who he is always. Always. He ran for president not because he wanted to be president. He ran for president because he's a petty bitch and he was mad at Barack Obama for roasting his ass at the White House press meeting.
Yes.
That's why he ran. Don't get it twisted. It is not as deep as motherfuckers think it is. This bastard wasn't expecting to win because he didn't realize himself that America is as racist as America is.
I think we could just agree that he sucks. Let's just agree.
Yeah, exactly.
He sucks.
Yeah,
He does suck.
people don't realize.
And rest in peace to
how
Mac Miller.
racist America
Yeah,
is.
it was more about.
But
Mac,
they
my
do
point was
now.
more about Mac Miller.
Yeah,
No,
you messed
but
up, DK. You messed up, DK.
No, but there was
Opened
some
up a
deep.
wound.
That was real, yeah. But that was deep what DK said because I didn't put the two. Like I salute that DK. You really you brought the fire in here, but that was heavy. That was something that I never even. Man, we try to hit people with heavy questions, and you just spun us out. So spun me out. I can't speak for everybody else. But thank you for that. I love that.
Basically, just like toxic, toxic
heavy.
social media, all that type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Dude, DK came in here and dropped a boom on us. Like sonic boom.
I told you.
Shit. Like a dolphin.
You don't
he just hit
expect it,
sonic.
man.
Like
You don't expect it.
He's hard Dugan. Boom.
I'm going to throw one back at throw a bomb back at you.
Uh-oh.
So we've all been on Twitter and the infamous Black Twitter, and their constant white people are a guest in hip hop. Where does that take you, DK?
Oh, whoa, SP. He went
Yo,
away
but you
again.
saw what he did though?
He went away.
Subliminally, he gave you the black screen, like black
He went
screen.
away.
Right. He said, "Whole lap, boom."
Yo, that's a good
DK,
question.
you ain't playing, DK. DK's a tennis player, man. He can't use like in the curve.
What? 1 second.
See, I told him what to do. He followed what I told him to do. Marriott, like I can't hear you. I don't know what you're saying.
Okay,
you gotta ask him again.
Sorry, I just had to put back my headphones. Go. Can you just repeat the question?
We're ready, bro.
When they always talk about the guests in hip hop, how does that affect? How do you feel about that being labeled as a guest in hip hop?
Well, I'm okay with it. I just try my best to just learn about history and appreciate everything about the culture, and at least inform myself before participating.
Justo, what do you think about that guest label in hip hop?
Oh man. I think as long as the respect factor is there, because the vultures. I mean, we all know the vultures, you know what I'm saying? But if you see that there's any artist who's just being themselves, just caring about the culture, I don't think there should be a problem with that. I don't think they should be called a guest if they're contributing in a positive way. You know what I'm saying? Now I do understand at the same time that this is something that we build. You know what I'm saying? But I think we just have to be careful. We have to be careful the way we approach that, because if the shoe is on the other foot, obviously, like how it is, like we literally go through that, as a Black community in society. So the last thing we want to do is do that back, because two wrongs don't make a right. You know what I'm saying? So we just have to be careful. We have to be careful about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think that is wrong, but at the same time, I just feel like we have to be careful, because there's some artists that really want to be a part of hip hop, and they actually they're actually contributing, in a positive way. So I think it's just something we just have to be careful.
And in a genuine way. I love what he's saying.
I think what happened was Eminem happened.
Yeah.
And there's no denying his talent.
Right.
There's no denying his artistry. And why I think this
or his
question
authenticity.
Or his authenticity. But I think this question started coming up because people started to forget about the legends and the founders and the other artists, and just named him the king of hip hop.
Right.
And I think that's what started making people nervous, because they looked at the other genres that we have initiated and started.
Okay.
And how quickly they were taken away from us.
Okay. All right. I didn't know that was the other part of it. That's why. So it came from that situation. That's why you're asking us specifically from that situation.
Well, just in general, because I think knowing why people are saying it,
right,
kind of makes a difference in people. Because I think people are thinking that Lord Jamar is just some I hate white people person.
Right.
And he's not.
No.
But what he was saying is, what is going to end up happening is 100 years from now, when somebody looks back at hip hop, they're not going to see us, because Eminem is going to be the best rapper in the world. And nobody, because that is what they have claimed.
But my thing is, like, who's they? Because I feel like there's so many people that still give respect to all of our kings. You know what I'm saying? So when you start, I think for me personally, I feel like instead of harping on whoever random is saying Eminem is the GOAT or whatever, we need to just big up and say, no, these are our GOATs. This is who we feel is the GOAT. It's because it's all subjective at the end of the day. It's all going to be painted on what music people gravitate to more. But if you take 9 out of 10 kids from my hood, then no one's gonna say Eminem. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's gonna say Eminem. From almost any hood you go to, if you take the young, especially young kids, like nowadays, nobody's gonna say Eminem. So that's why it's kind of weird if you say, "Oh, people they call who's they?" You know what I'm saying?
This is the thing. The hood is 6 blocks wide in either direction. The world is way bigger than that.
For sure.
And in the history of the world, your hood don't make a difference.
No, that's a fact.
In the history books, our hoods don't make a difference. Because if it made a difference, then people would know who Rosetta Tharpe is, right?
Right.
That's what he's talking about. Because when the books are written, we aren't a part of those books.
but that's why I feel like it's our responsibility to make sure that we are the ones writing the book. You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I feel
That's
like that.
what I wanted to get you to
No, for sure. I think, but that's the thing. We keep giving it. We give it to them.
Exactly.
That was my point. What I was trying to say. Like, who's they? If we
Exactly.
already claim that like Eminem's the GOAT, then we're giving, you know, what we feel is ours away. So instead of doing that, we write the book. No, this is who we, and that starts with our OGs in the hip hop game. I feel like a lot of them, you know, they get, you know, big headed. They start getting, you know, put in a certain position, and then they forget about where they came from. And we have to, as a culture, continue to big up our artists that we love, you know, that we're the ones writing the book instead of it being given to the corporations. And because that's who's doing it. That's the day. The day is the corporations. It's the labels. The labels take and they say who's the best and who's this, who's that. Man, I don't even care about the billboards. I don't care about the charts. I don't care about Grammys. I used to care about that stuff when I first started. When I see the kind of people that win, that it doesn't even affect me anymore. I'm like, bro, this is number one on the billboards for real. Cool. Like, I'm gonna just keep doing what I'm doing because clearly y'all got a whole nother agenda. So, you know, I think we have to just not worry about and just focus on what we feel, write our own story, basically. That's what I was trying to get at with you.
Because I listen to DK's beats and I listen to the way DK talks about hip hop. And I am one of those people who don't believe that. I don't believe that white people are guests in hip hop. But I am of a different breed. So I understand the necessity and the respect, but I see both sides.
Facts, yeah.
So that is what the point I was trying to get both of you to kind of make. Hey, we write our own history and we need to take control of that.
Yeah.
And stop throwing it away to other people for them to control the narrative. Absolutely. Because it should not be 2021 and people are just now finding out that Betty Boop was a black woman.
That's wild. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I think that comes from lack of education, lack of information. It wasn't until the internet started to put out more information then we started to realize certain things, because I can honestly say it wasn't until I started to, you know, read and watch videos and learn from other people that, wait a minute, I've been a little sheltered. You know what I'm saying? There are some things that I didn't realize that were really going on. That's why I love social media in the aspect of you can learn from it. Some people feel like social media is, oh my God, you know, it's a waste of time, blah, blah, blah. But you're not following the right people. Right. If you go out and you follow the right people on social media, people that are genuinely willing to educate you on their perspective and their experience and what they've seen on their end, then you realize, wow, this is the reason why, you know, certain things, you know, wasn't as apparent to me. I'm 43 years old and I feel like I'm still learning things. Everything that I thought I knew up until right now is distorted. So now I'm trying to like figure out more information, figure out like what is really going on and what our people's real experiences are. And that's one of the reasons why I feel like how we talked about earlier that, you know, Trump's presidency really exploded a lot of information that we didn't realize was out there. I feel like it opened our eyes to a lot of things. It really made us realize, you know what? I don't like this. I want to do something about this. Or I don't like that. Or wait a minute, I didn't know this was going on. I had a guy one time tell me when I was in line at somewhere, we were just having a conversation. The guy goes, do you really think it's true what's happening with police? And I don't think it's really true. And I'm like, dude, are you crazy? I grew up in Queens. It's just true. You're just now finding out about it because there's phones and there's videos. We didn't have smartphones in the 80s and the 90s. But all of the problems that we see that are happening right now, they've been going on.
They're happening.
It's just now exposed. And so, like you said, Justo, because of the pandemic, now we're forced to face it.
Yeah.
We can't unlearn and unsee what
I
we're
know.
seeing.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm sorry, guys, but I know DK has to go in a few minutes, so I just want to squeeze these in before he has to go. Do you think that white artists have a responsibility to speak on the issues that happen in our community?
You muted, bro.
You're muted.
Oh, sorry. I was muted. Yeah, I think it's a pretty clear yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody's, regardless of skin color, I guess people should, we're all humans, everybody should stick up for one another. We see something that's not fair, step in, make it right.
And
treat people like you wanted to be treated, right? That's the golden rule, right?
And when you being a white artist in a predominantly minority space, how has that affected you? Your art, is it harder? Is it easier? Because we always hear about how we are when we go into a predominantly white space. How is it for you coming into a predominantly Black space?
Never really thought about that too much. For me, like, my goal was always just to make the best art possible and put it out there and just hope it was accepted and people liked it. And, that was kind of all my goal. And I'm like one of those people who we don't really care what other people think, because it's just art after all, each person's going to have their own opinion. So, yeah.
I think you're amazing.
Thank you.
I really do. And I always like to ask these questions because I think it's good for us to hear each other and to see each other.
Yeah, I respect
right?
that.
And it's not often that people get a chance to speak to somebody as intelligent as you and who has such a broad and dynamic life experience that has touched on both communities, and you could speak in both areas fluently. And so I really thank you for actually being brave enough to just answer those questions, because a lot of people wouldn't, and I appreciate you for doing that.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Thank you so much. See you next time.
Thank you so much,
Thank
DK.
you.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you,
Peace.
DK.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for giving me the platform. Bye.
I appreciate you.
Oh, he should be talking about his next project. Damn.
Yeah. We'll ask him and put it in the description.
Cool.
Yes.
And I know Justo just got off work, so he's probably sick of us too.
Yo, if y'all got a few more, I can chat with y'all for a little more longer.
Thank you, Justo. No, honestly, man, like, you're real people right there. I could tell.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love that we're able to have a diverse show and be able to actually let people see other sides.
Yeah.
And we have our experience, but it's good to let other people share their experience so that we're not yelling at each other across the void and not understanding or hearing each other.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys for sure.
when okay, I'm gonna ask. Do you think light skinned rappers get more opportunities than dark skinned rappers?
Oh man.
That's colorism.
Yeah,
That's colorism.
I don't think so personally. I don't know. I mean, yeah, Drake is the guy. He's the face right now, right? So, but yeah, I don't know how much that plays into it. I really don't, to be
Yeah,
honest.
because Lil Wayne was the face for a long time.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I don't really know. I don't know how much that plays into, who they decide, or they again decide is the top person or whatever. But for me, like, that stuff is, like DK said, it's irrelevant. Like, it's your art, bro. Like, at the end of the day, and honestly, with hip hop, I think it's more so who's willing to sell their ass, like, to move up.
That's right.
It's less about what you look like and more about what you're willing to do.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? So I think that's more concerning to me than the colorism thing. Now, I think on the flip side, it definitely might work that way when it comes to, like, the girls they choose to put in their videos. The fellas choose to put in their videos. Sometimes it can work in that way. Bless you.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as, like, who are the faces of hip hop and stuff, I don't know if that works out as much as, like, just who's willing to do the most, sell their soul the most, to be honest.
And I think it has a lot to. I think that question is a lot harder for women.
Yes. That's what I was saying. What with the videos and with the who they decide to put in the videos, and who's the face for hip hop women as well, like our femcs. So definitely, I think that definitely face. But again, that's just like our what we go through in our regular day life,
the
right?
macro world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all this stuff is just a microcosm in the hip hop world.
So just for shits and giggles, who's your top 5 producers?
Well, I gotta put Primo in there because that's the big dog. So definitely Premier. I mentioned two, Timberland and Just Blaze are definitely. I would go on a limb and say they're definitely a part of my top 5. Oh man, that's a good question. Because I love the old school, but to be perfectly honest, I was born in '89, so I'm not like, my view is just a little bit different as far as
there are no wrong answers.
Yeah, these are your top 5. Yeah, your top 5.
And if don't nobody like your top 5, they can kick rocks. These are your top 5.
Oh, Ninth Wonder. I'm bugging. Ninth Wonder is that guy. Ninth Wonder. And I'm trying to think who's a 5th. So Timberland, Ninth Wonder, Premier, Just Blaze. I'm trying to think of a 5th. Man, I gotta give it up to the GOAT Kanye. I can't lie. I know he's bugging out, but Kanye has made some of the greatest beats in hip hop, bro. You gotta give it to him. Like, you gotta give it to him.
You gotta give it to him.
He's one of the greatest. I'm not crazy about the stuff he's been doing lately, but out of his catalog, he's one of the greatest to do it. So I would say those 5. If I had to pick 5 just off the top of my head, I would say those 5.
Yeah, you can't take away what he's done, even though
he's losing it.
That he's just a little
touched.
But it ain't like he's peed on the 14-year-old. You know what I'm saying? He's it's a spectrum.
I ain't gonna cancel him.
It's a spectrum on this. He ain't really hurt nobody but himself.
Right.
So Justo's saying, I don't care what he's saying, but I like what he's playing. He likes his music, but he don't care what he's saying.
Catalog wise,
Yeah, no
Not
question.
lately, like lately he's been bugging, but
No
catalog wise, he's one of the top.
He's one of the
Yeah, I
goats.
think he
Kiss at
lost
the
me
tone.
in Poopity Scoop.
Oh, stop it.
That was wild. That was wild.
So, yo, everybody that follows Powaful Impak, man, please DM Timberland. Was it Primo?
Now you gotta DM Primo.
Sorry.
Primo, my boy. That's the big homie.
I have a random. Sorry, go, Justin. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you.
No. That's it.
I wanted to ask a random
name
question. Can I wait? Hold up, SP. Can I ask one random question?
What?
Because we did investigate. Sorry, we did interview Little Dap the other day. Did you have any type of relationship or goings-ons with Little Dap from Group Home, or when you come into the picture, he's no longer part of the Gangstar Foundation?
Yeah, no. I came much later. Like my affiliation came like, what was it, 2000? I want to say like 11 or something like that.
Yeah. So Guru already passed away by that
Guru
point.
Guru had already passed.
And everything already kind of fell apart.
Yeah. So just a quick thing. So my affiliation came because my manager, who's also my cousin, DJ Vic Black, he had came through and found out about, like, I was rapping and stuff, and he brought me under the Gangstar Foundation umbrella because he came up with Gangstar or whatever. And so that's how my affiliation started. It was really through my manager at the time. He's no longer my manager, but that time back. So my affiliation came way later.
So I'm going to hit you with one more top 5.
Okay.
MCs,
yeah. Well, I gotta say Jay, I gotta say Nas, I gotta say Big. Those are 3 of my favorite off the bat. DMX 4. Damn, that 5th one's tough. Favorite to listen to. I want to be fair because those 4, without a doubt, are my favorite, without a doubt. Damn. I would throw Kiss in there. I would throw Jada Kiss in there.
Yes.
Just because I love his voice. I love what he's about right now too. How he's bringing it back. He's just one of those voices. Him and Fabulous back in the day were like 2 guys that you listened to and you knew their verse was gonna be crazy. Like it didn't matter what song it was. You just knew if they was on a feature and their verse came on, it's about to be crazy. It's about.
What is your favorite verse? All-time favorite verse?
Shit, that's tough.
From anyone, old school, new school, whatever. Just that one verse.
Biggie's out kicking the door, rain on the top, was short like leprechaun. When these so-called rapidons kicking that ass real fast like Ramadan, it's the black phenomenon, dun dada, fuck Papa. Yeah, that one, kicking the door, that one always gets me going. That one's
waving the 4-4.
Yo, fire. And that beat, that's a primo beat too.
My joint is Who Shot Ya, probably by him, is one of my favorite verses. The Who Shot Ya. Who Shot Ya by Biggie is probably one of my favorite verses.
But what's the verse? Give me a verse.
Who shot you? Separate the weak from the obsolete. Hard to creep them Brooklyn streets. It's on. Stop all that bickering beef. I can hear. You know. Sasquatch feet. He's ridiculous.
Okay.
That's one of the toughest beats. I don't know who made that beat, but that's tough.
I don't know either. It's good.
All right, I like that.
All right, give me yours, guys. Give me yours.
Well, let me tell you something. I have to admit, I had a chance to hang out with Biggie.
Whoa! True confessions. Here we go now.
So
we in the demon hour now.
Let me tell you something. I was like 19, and I had a friend of mine. She was like, "Oh yeah, I'm friends with Biggie," and I didn't believe her. I was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever," you know. And she's like, "Yeah, we're going to Virginia Key Beach. You know, come with me." And I'm like, all right, let me see. I'm gonna see how far this lie can go, you know? And then sure enough, we drive to the airport and we're sitting there in the terminal and he pulls up. And I'm like, now, you know how like some, people when they see stars, they're like freaking out. I was so starstruck, I was silent. I was just like,
that's crazy.
And we ended up hanging out on the van, and then we went to the concert, and then it was 1995 or 96. And I think he passed away in 97, right?
Dang.
96. So when he performed that Virginia Key Beach, I actually was dancing in the background on stage. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. This wasn't a plan. I wasn't a dancer. I was just starstruck. I was quiet. But the thing that stuck out with me is that he had a lazy eye.
Yeah,
so Biggie had an eye that literally like
that's a
one
fact.
eye was straight and one eye was like off. And
Crazy.
it was a crazy moment, but like everything about, I mean, Warning is my favorite.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Warning is my favorite. You know what I'm saying? So that's the one that, and Suicide. You know what I'm saying? That, I mean, those are like those moments when, you know, like his lyrics were just like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say Warning.
I have two
Warning
questions,
is the
guys.
one that I like the most.
What is he like? Number one, just hanging out with him, and then number two, what was the performance like? Because I've never, you know, I never got to see him live. What was that like, man? That's gotta be amazing.
So he's a storyteller. Like, to be honest with you, behind the scenes, he just likes to sit in a chair and have everybody around him and tell stories all day long. He likes to tell stories about his experience. And that's like, that was his vibe. He just loved to tell stories about what he did when he was traveling, because, you know, he came from Brooklyn and now he's like going all these different places. And the story that I remember that he told was about Faith Evans. So he did a concert. He was sitting there, and I'm talking about like everyone's like, just imagine like you have a guy in a chair, Biggie's in a chair, and everyone is surrounded by him, sitting down, standing up, just listening to him. He's talking, and he goes, he tells a story about how, you know, he was with Faith Evans or whatever, but he's traveling. So of course he does a concert. He hooks up with some groupies or whatever, brings one of the chicks back to the hotel. But Evans, you know, as women, we have like these like, we know something's up, right?
Yeah, that's a fact.
So she takes a flight, doesn't say anything, takes a flight to wherever he's performing, goes to the hotel, and she's banging on the door, and she's like, "Oh, room service, room service." This is Biggie who told the story. I'm not making it up. He told the story. He's like, "I'm chilling at the hotel. I hear somebody knock on the door, room service." He opens up the door. Faith Evan comes in and beats the chick that he's with in the hotel. Fucks her up. So the chick looks at Biggie like, "Help, like, yo, what are you gonna do?" And he was just like, "Yo, I told you I was married." That was it. And then
wow. Hopped on the next flight, in and out.
That's
and then she was out. Yo, Faith, let me tell you something. She didn't play. It was crazy. But
Allegedly.
yeah, allegedly. I don't know. I mean, I was very shy back then. And again, I was just kind of like rolling with this chick that was like, I know these people. I didn't believe her, but then I'm like, okay.
It was crazy. Primo's like that too. Primo said he'll tell you stories all day. He just
a lot of these rappers, they just like to talk about their experiences.
Facts.
You know?
It's true.
You think that they're about to do something crazy? No, they're regular people who just like to talk.
Yeah, it's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
24. For an upcoming, all right, wait, one more question for you, Justo, before we go.
All right.
So for an upcoming artist, what would you tell the blueprint is for, let me see. What's the blueprint for you and DK? How do you guys put everything together?
Like just as far as moving forward, like just our music in general.
Yeah, in general. How do you guys plan everything out? How do you guys make it work as a team?
Or how do you maneuver through
being a long distance and stuff?
Right.
And being an artist, getting to where you are right now.
Okay. I think as far as like with me and DK concerned, is just, you know, like you said earlier, just staying authentic, communicating. I think communicating is big. Like as long as we're communicating with each other, you know, because he might send me something and I'm like, bro, like that's dope, but I can't rap on that. I don't want to rap on that. Like, this one's not working, you know, because I'll be as artists, you gotta feel each other out. You know what I'm saying? Because he might think in his head, oh, this fits Justo perfect. And then I get it, and I'm like, nah. And he'd be like, you know, it might throw him off, like, oh, but I thought, and it's like, nah, dude. It's like I'm not in that mode right now. Like that actually happened recently. We're like working on like a new joint. And he had sent me something, and I was like, I'm looking for something a little darker because it was kind of like upbeat, it's kind of happy. And I wasn't in a happy mood. So I was like, dude, I need like, you know what I'm saying? So communication, I think communication is like key for any relationship. And so definitely when especially when we're not in the same town, we're not in the same vicinity, like, you know, those messages have to be clear. You know what I'm saying? When I'm emailing him, like, yo, it has to be clear, it has to be concise so he can see where I'm coming from. But you know, I think just staying authentic too at the end of the day. Like, we don't want to shift too far from what's gotten us where we are. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's the reason why we're here right now. Y'all like what y'all hear. So we don't want to go too far away from it, you know, because some artists will get experimental, which is cool. But I feel like until you find your lane where, you know, you're able to just be one of those big powerhouse names, you should try to stick with wherever the love is coming from. You know, and right now what we're doing, we're getting the right kind of love and we're getting the right kind of community. So just trying to stick with that and move forward like that. I think that's you know, the best way for us, individually and obviously together. So
last question.
Thank you.
Who are the 3 people, either personally or professionally, that had a powerful impact in your life?
Like that one, SP. Damn. Off the bat, my grandmother, who I lost years ago. I was like 10 years old when she passed away, but I learned so much from this woman. Like, still to this day, I remember a lot of things my nana told me. So she's always someone in the back of my mind, you know, that I know is an angel watching over me and just taught me a lot as a youth, you know, even before she left. So definitely Primo has become almost like him and obviously Vic Black, who was my manager. They were like father figures for me in hip hop. You know, they taught me a lot. As far, like I told you, Primo was the one who helped me put the MC on my name because the OGs knew about Justo and he was looking out for me on the OG strength. Because, like, you know, the kids don't know about Justo, but the OGs was asking him like, yo, you got Justo's name, you know what I'm saying? Like, so having someone like him really helped me in the hip hop world, especially in like I don't want to call it underground, but the original hip hop world. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're dealing with Primo, you're dealing with the original hip hop world. You're not dealing with no fluff hip hop. You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with the real deal. So I was around MOP. I was around what do you call it? MOP, DITC. I was around all the heavy hitters, all the old, you know, all the original hip hop heads. So being around him, he definitely helped. Push me in the right direction, him and Vic Black. So they're 2 guys who definitely are a huge inspiration. And then I would say, honestly, it might sound corny, but my kids, like my 2 daughters, they've helped me develop into just a better person, a better man, you know, learning this fatherhood stuff, because it ain't easy being a parent.
No.
So just learning and me protecting them helped me protect myself better. You know what I'm saying? Because it helped me to be more assertive about certain things. Like, I don't let people just talk to me any kind of way. Or I'm not saying I did that before that, but it makes you even more aware of how you're being treated, because you want to think, I wouldn't want anyone talking to me like that if my daughters was in front of me. You know what I'm saying? So it just puts it even more of I wouldn't say a guard, but just a presence to understand, like,
set an example.
You know what I'm saying? So by them being my kids, they actually make me better. So they inspire me to be better. So I would say my kids, my grandmother, and then DJ Vic Black and DJ Premier, definitely.
It is something about girls.
Amazing.
I have I have a daughter, and I was one of those way out there people. And my daughter, when I had her, she made me want to be a better me.
Right.
Yes.
And so I know exactly what you mean. It's something about girls.
Yeah.
They require you to be better.
Facts. Yeah.
And they will tell you how they really feel.
They'll tell you straight up. Like
My kids have no filter. They
No.
will literally put me in my place, and I'll be like,
I don't know whether I have a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old, or a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
They talk to me like, I'm like, bruh, like you guys are so young. Why y'all already talking like that?
yes.
But it's
I
real.
remember.
It keeps me on my toes.
And they know us. They know us better than anybody else. I mean, like, know us.
And that love that you have for them is different than any love you've ever had for
You could ever
anybody
have
in your life. It's a different kind of love.
Yes.
I remember when my daughter was 3, my grandmother kept her because she had cancer.
Okay.
And she wanted to really know her before she passed away. Right. So the first few years she stayed, predominantly with my grandmother.
Okay. And
my grandmother was really smart. She only had a 5th grade education, but she was so smart.
Right.
She was one of those people who sat and watched Jeopardy and just rattled off the answers. And you're like, I only know the pop questions. I only know the pop questions.
Right. Yeah.
And so she was 3, and she said, "Are you asleep?" And I said, "Nah, I ain't asleep. I'm just laying here for no reason." And she said, "Your sarcasm is lost on me." What?
Yeah, she's like,
your sarcasm is lost on me.
That's why how does she know to use it in the right context?
Exactly.
Because that was my grandmother's phrase. I don't get your sarcasm. Your sarcasm is lost on me. That's your sarcasm is lost on me.
But the fact that she knew you was being sarcastic, though,
yes,
that's crazy.
They know, but they know. They know more than they know. That they know. We think that they're young and innocent, but they know what's up. My youngest will put me out no matter what. My oldest, she's all gold, all heart and loving. But my youngest, if she's around, I'm telling her a story, she'll be like, "Mom, that's bullshit." I'll be like, "Damn, you still got my bag." "No, Mom, that's not how the story went."
Yeah, straight up, get at her.
That's but you know what? I think that as parents, we need to allow our children to express themselves, whether it hurts our feelings or not.
Yeah.
Because especially your girls.
Yes, because it validates what they feel or think.
Right.
I mean, like me personally growing up in a household where whatever I thought or felt didn't matter.
No, it don't. Yeah.
Well, my daughter was the only child, so it was important to me that she had her own voice.
Yes.
And I taught her very early on that you don't have to hug your grandpa if you don't want to. And you don't have to hug your grandmother if you don't want to. Right. This is your body, and you have the right to say.
My wife, you do the same thing.
You have the right to say no.
Yep.
And
that's when we grew up where it was like, go hug your uncle, go hug your auntie, say hello, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying?
I would get a complete kick out of going to family functions, and she'd be like, "You can't touch my body. I have autonomy."
Yo. Damn.
And they just be looking at me.
Yo.
Like, yo, Who is this?
She's a real one. She's a real one.
I have autonomy.
That's
You don't.
that's wild. I would fall out my chair if a kid said that to me. I'd be like, oh my God.
But I'm glad that we're normalizing letting our children express themselves, man.
Yo,
That's so important.
especially in our community. Especially in our community.
We worked on that phrase. That's a good phrase to have when they go to family functions. Do not touch me. I have the right to autonomy.
That's a fact. That's a fact. But it's right. But I agree with Goddess. I mean, I feel like every generation is learning, especially within our community, is trying to learn to parent our kids a little bit differently, because you know where we come from and how we had to parent from our ancestors. So I feel like every generation is coming off of that mentality and trying to teach our kids in a different way and trying to give them more freedom, you know, not in a way where they just doing whatever they want, but more freedom to be seen, be heard, like you guys said. You know what I'm saying? I think that's really important, because how are we going to expect them to be leaders if they're afraid in their own crib? You know what I'm saying? Like if they're not talking up and speaking up in their own crib.
And having a girl, I never spanked her, because I always thought that would teach her that love is supposed to hurt.
Yes, that's key.
And so I didn't spank because, but she had made me so mad. At one point, she was sleeping on a pallet on the floor because I took all the furniture out of the room. Because the law says you have to provide a roof and some clothes. That's all they said, and some food. That's all they said I had.
That's different. I like that though. That's different.
Everything else is extra.
Yeah, I'm about to take that from you, SP. When my kids, while I'm about to just start taking stuff out of
there. Yeah, just start taking stuff out there. By the time I finished with her, she had a blanket on the floor.
I like that.
I'm a mandated reporter.
I like that. Nah, chill, Nev. I like that.
Hey, is that not the law, Nev?
I like that.
Right.
Because these kids be wilding. And when you got to get creative, though. When you don't hit your kids, I agree with SP, because I don't hit my kids neither. You got to get creative. You got to start thinking of other stuff, because you can't just bop them upside. So you got to catch them.
Yeah.
They're going to try you. They're not getting hit. They're going to try you. They're going to try you.
She didn't have a door.
I love it.
She didn't have a door at 14. I took the whole door off the hinges.
I love it.
Powaful Impak supports
non-violence. You get no privacy. Privacy means that you are a responsible person, and you can't be responsible, so you deserve no privacy. So I took the door off the hinges.
Say that.
All right, we're gonna have to get to some more of these questions, and then we'll be wrapping up.
So last question. I promise this is the last question. How about that?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you want your legacy to be?
I think I said this before one time in an interview, but I think, you know, there's no better feeling than like how we're talking about, you know, DMX, or we talking about Jay-Z, or we talking about, you know, certain artists, and, you know, your eyes light up or your ears perk up, like we was just talking about Biggie. You know, you think about that artist, and it's just like something in you. You remember that moment, you know, that you first heard their music, or you went to their first concert, or, you know, you bought their first, you know, vinyl or CD or whatever. And that's what I want. I just want to be an artist where at the end of the day, people say Justo the MC, their eyes light up, you know, their ears perk up. And they're like, yo, he's one of my favorite, you know, artists. You know, I think to me, that's more important than really anything else, because all that other stuff, it comes and goes. You know what I'm saying? People gonna say you dope, and then they're gonna say you not. People gonna like the music you make, and then they won't like it. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of stuff, getting caught up in who's the best artist and da-da-da-da. I just want it to be where I have actual fans who get hype when they hear about my name when I'm gone. You know, I can hear a Biggie track right now and just be like, oh, and he's been gone for years. You know what I'm saying? A long time. So I think that legacy of someone playing my song years from now, and I still got fans, I still got people passing my songs on to the next generation. That's a legacy to me. That my voice is never unheard. You know, that people are still listening to me when I'm well and gone. I think that's more important than any riches because I can't take that with me anyway. So, you know, I think that's the most important thing.
And I'm going to be completely honest. Eminem is one of my favorite artists and always has been. And my favorite verse is, you looking at Attila, the psychopathic killer, the caterpillar. Don't tell me when I'm supposed to rap until, especially when your favorite rapper ain't even half as illa. Attacking a silverback gorilla. You having a little trouble fathoming this is actually happening. Like Anderson Silverback when he snapped the shit in half and he had the shit hanging by a flap of skin after he tried to plant the shit back on the mat again.
He was nasty. He was nasty. He was
nasty.
One of the nastiest MCs.
I love it. I love Espino's
definitely one of the nastiest MCs. I love how you just broke that down because he was filthy. He was absolutely filthy. So
disgusting.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Like I said, as long as they bringing something to the community, they ain't no guests. Let them rock, man. Let them rock.
Yeah, and people are always surprised. And I grew up in the hood, and people are always surprised when I say that. But Eminem has always been
nasty,
special to me.
Absolutely.
And he has always, because I got it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes you just get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I got exactly who he was.
Right.
Even through the goofy songs that people always talk about, like I'm Slim Shady.
Right.
The reason people thought those songs were goofy is because they only listened to the punchline. They didn't listen to the substance of those songs.
Right.
So even when he was doing those weird videos.
Yeah.
But what he was talking about was censorship.
Right.
He was talking about I can't curse, but this dude can hump a dead moose on TV and ain't nobody gonna say that. Yeah.
My mama's on your lips. My mama's on your lips.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, I just might give it a little kiss.
Yeah. That's because
what was that guy's name? Tom something.
Tom Green.
Yeah, that dude was wild.
Yeah, Tom Green can fuck a dead moose, but I can't curse.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on in this world?
Yeah. No, it's a fact. It's a fact. But it was his reality. I love that he never tried to act like he was some hood. Like he gave us his reality, and it put a whole new spin on hip hop. And to be honest, I think it opened doors for some black artists to not do the same old hood hip hop. You know, you start seeing more black artists being a little more weird and eccentric and not doing the stereotypical hip hop stuff.
Yes.
So he opened he kind of opened the door for even black artists to be a little different.
Diverse.
One thing I can say, I am from the hood, but I am not of the hood.
Amen. Yeah, same.
And it's a difference.
Yep.
When I go back to the hood, I to give back to my community, I give back grateful that I'm not in the place that I was.
Right.
I don't give back with nostalgia of laying on the floor avoiding gunshot coming through the windows.
Facts. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't listen. I don't look at it like that. I look at it as either we're going to build the community and make it better, because nobody should want to live like that.
Absolutely.
No.
It's not normal.
Absolutely.
No.
And we shouldn't normalize it. And I think a lot of times it gets normalized.
Right. And it has to
That's not normal.
Straight up. I agree with that.
No, absolutely. 100%. I agree. I think growing up, to me, it felt normalized until I got out of that situation.
So you left it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't know any other situation.
Yeah, I'm tough. I'm like, you're not tough.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know what a saucer was. You had a cup, but
Oh, facts.
what the fuck is that plate doing underneath the cup? I don't know what the hell is going on right now.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
That plate held the syrup when we was eating breakfast.
Nah, I hear it.
It had a purpose. It wasn't a whole to keep the cup off the table. I don't know what the hell. I still can't tell you what the hell a sauce is for. What the hell is it for? Explain it to me. Goddess, explain to me what the hell is a saucer for?
A saucer?
Yes. Why?
I don't know.
Me either.
It's a whole sauce to dip sauces in.
Nah.
No.
The thing that you
It's
put
what
under
your
the cup.
It's underneath your
I think so. Just I don't know what it's for, to be honest. I think maybe not to put a stain on your on the table, like they put it on. You put it on top of it, so don't put it like because if you got hot tea or whatever.
Yeah.
It put that little ring on your joint.
Yes,
It put the little ring on it, so you put the little saucer there, so it don't
or
put
if
the
there's
ring
anything
on your
that drips, it drips into the
Exactly.
sauce.
That's if you have a nice. That's if you have a nice table.
Yeah.
Okay, all you smart people in the comments, tell us what the hell a sauce is used for.
You know, I posted a picture one time, and it was like a table setting, and it showed like the plate, and then the salad plate, and all these knives and spoons and all this other stuff, right? And someone says, you know, how do you use these utensils? And my response was, that looks like a lot of dishes.
Now, don't get me wrong. I know the order. I know the orders.
Why are we doing this?
I know what they're for. I know what the forks and the spoons and the stuff is for. I know why I know where they go on the table. I know how to use them and which direction to use them in. I got that. I still don't know why. Why do you need all of that? I can eat shrimp with any kind of fork. I don't just need a shrimp fork. You know what I mean? I can eat. What the hell is going on? Why do we have to make life so complicated?
We need to.
Right.
But that's the past. That's why now you have so many people rebellious.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now they're like, you know what? Bump that. That doesn't mean nothing. Because there was a time where if you follow these rules and what society expected you to do, that's how you know you had grace or whatever it is. But that's bullshit.
Well, I bought dishes just so my daughter would know what it was like to break a plate. You know what I mean? I didn't want her to be just completely ignorant, didn't know how to set a table and none of that stuff.
No,
But if it was my choice, we'd have just had paper plates and some silverware, and then all we had to wash is silverware. Went
done and done
at the end of the day.
When you have
I bought plates
paper
just so she would know what a plate setting was.
Yes. When you have kids, paper plates are a blessing. I don't care what anybody say. Paper plates, all that. I'll have a whole bunch of dishes in the cabinet. Don't touch that.
Straight up.
Get the paper plate.
Straight up.
And that's it. You know, how old are your kids, Justo?
3 and 5.
Oh, okay. So you haven't hit the that moment where all your silverware goes missing. I don't know if you dealt with that.
What? No.
But yes.
Oh, you will. Because they don't want to wash it, they'll just throw it in the trash.
Let me tell you something. I went and I was looking for a spoon. I'm like, there's no silverware. No silverware. And I'm not talking about plastic. I'm talking about silverware gone.
Nah.
I'm like, where's the silverware? I don't know. They throwing that shit out.
Yes, they don't want to wash it, so they throw it in the trash.
Nah.
Been there.
And wait, Justo. You got a couple years coming.
Oh God, man, it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff coming. I get 2 girls. This is a whole bunch of stuff I gotta worry about.
But you know what? Yeah. Just keep building up their self-esteem, their confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Give them the space to tell you how they feel. That's so important to me with my kids. I'm not gonna lie, like when they were younger, I had that very traditional way. No, do what I say, don't ask no questions, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then as I got older and I started realizing it was affecting them, and they were like, Mom, why are you doing this? Why are you And I was just like, you know what? I need to give my kids a voice. I realized that I was just following how I was raised.
Right.
I was raised, from a strict family. So I'm like, no, I don't want my kids to be depressed. I think raising children mentally healthy is a challenge, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
And just know that boys tear up your house.
Well,
Girls tear up your soul.
my girls do both. They be tearing
Girls,
everything. They tear up the house. They be tearing me down. They be
girls. You don't understand. Nobody's ever been through nothing that they've been through ever in life.
They have it so hard.
Yes, they are so dramatic.
Yes, they are. I mean, they're already like that. I told y'all, they act like they 13 and 15. They're already like that. Crying for everything, whining, oh, this, oh, you didn't do that, oh, daddy, why'd you move that? I'm like, come on, y'all too young for this.
Let me tell you how dramatic they are. This is the actual conversation I had with my daughter when she was 4. Mommy, I don't feel good. I was like, what's the matter? I don't feel good. I was like, well, what's wrong? My insulin is low. My sugar's low, Mama.
Your daughter is, she be having you, I see what you talking about. She be really.
I asked them what they want to eat. I'm like, what do you guys want to eat? You want some chicken? Oh, I don't eat that. Okay, so what you guys eat now? No, we eat this. You don't know what they want. Every day.
It doesn't matter to me. We have a rule. I had a rule. You have to try everything. You might not like it. That's okay.
That's old
but
school.
You have to try everything because you don't know what you're gonna like.
My grandma used to do that. My grandmother used to do that.
They'll be like, I ain't eating. I'm like,
yeah, if you don't like it, that's fine. But you're going to try it. Yeah, you're gonna try it because they have to expand their palates. My daughter used to tell me I don't like a lot of stuff, but she eat a lot of shit that I don't eat. I don't eat pig's feet and none of that shit, but she eat all of that because I made her eat it. Try it. You might like it, and she did.
Every day they change up.
I don't, but she like it. So, parenting advice from Powaful Impak. Boom.
Boom. Man, it was a pleasure, Justo and SP. I gotta leave because I said.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Justo for coming.
Thank you, ladies.
I appreciate you, especially just getting off work. Thank you so much.
No doubt. It's at Justo the MC. So just like how you see it there, just put the at JUSTOTHEMC. Y'all can find me on everything, Instagram, all that good stuff.
And their music links and everything will be in the description. So all you have to do is click them and get on some of these jams because he has a new single out that is the bomb. I listened to that. It was
thank you,
dope.
thank you. Swaggle, right? I think that's the Swaggle.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was good. I love that single.
Thank you.
So I'll put all the links in the description, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Powaful Impact. Peace. Bye, guys.
Boom. Peace.
Boom.